Hello everybody and welcome to another Celestial Warriors review. I haven't done one of these for a while. If you remember, I reviewed this box set a while back once I got it from Sir Toys. I got this and a bootleg of the same thing. Now Celestial Warriors, their Megazord is based on the GODBEAST Megazord from back in the 90s, which in turn was kind of a copy of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Megazord. You can see the resemblances with the White Tiger, etc. Now they did change things over. They used the 4 mythical beasts from Chinese mythology. They used the dragon, the White Tiger, the turtle, I think it was like the black turtle it was called, and they also used the bird, which is kind of an eagle. And then for the main torso, they used the Qilin, which is kind of a mythical hooved creature. Now, I liked this set. It was good. I liked how they'd kind of brought that Megazord into the 21st century. The team over at Sir Toys have managed to find an oversized KO of this set. Imagine that, a KO of a Chinese KO. Does that mean that 2 wrongs make a right, so it's official? Who knows? And here they are with their slightly larger counterparts. It's a slight difference. Right, let's start off with the Qilin. Here he is alongside his slightly smaller official counterparts. The paint applications are pretty much the same. They're not perfect. We do get some overspray on the nose area, for example. It's made of a slightly thinner plastic. It doesn't really tab in as nicely, although the ratchets are very nice on the hind legs. Yes, there's not as much die cast in amongst the KO, but it's a much better size in my opinion. They've got the colours pretty much spot on. It's nice. It's kind of more the scale I was expecting when I first received the official product. I was expecting it to be kind of this huge Megazord size. Just to give you an idea of just how big these are, here we have MP10U. I mean, he's a fairly substantial size for a Masterpiece figure anyway, so I think he'd have trouble fighting off these. Now bringing in the bird, the wingspan and just the sheer size of this guy are very impressive. Unfortunately, it does still suffer from the same sort of overspray that we had with the Qilin. This also has fairly floppy feathers. They don't quite stay up. I think I could probably get away with kind of getting in here and just tightening it on the inside. Maybe put a little bit of glue or something in there just to tighten that up. And you can see what I mean by kind of the overspray. It's not as clean as I would have liked. But that being said, it does its job. It's a huge eagle. I like that they filled in this back cavity section as well. Yes, this is a very, very large piece, and having those wings come down forward there, it really reminds me of some of the kind of kaiju from the Godzilla movie, where he's facing off against the kind of lean forward and come across. So once again, there he is with MP10U. My favourite from the mix is the large green dragon. I actually think this has been done better than the original. The colours are a lot more crisp and he's actually held together better. I mean, if we look at the original, he does have some smearing and that around the eyes and doesn't really tab as cleanly as I would like on the nose. It's by no means bad, but the oversized version has done it better in my opinion. The teeth are cleaner and we have a better waist rotation as well. We've got more play left and right. The ratchets on these feet seem to work a little bit better as well, although this foot is still quite floppy, something that the original dragon suffered from as well, floppy foot syndrome. Unfortunately, this dragon happens to have 2 of them, but that's just an awesome length. This, in my opinion, literally knocks the socks off the Triceratops that it replaced. I just think it's a gorgeous design. We have articulation on the neck there. We have 3 points of extension, and then we have this on the waist. We have all the rotation on those legs. We have this nice big tail. Again though, the tail fin is a little bit lackluster, but we do have some rotation on there as well. And if we bring in Ultra Magnus for a scale comparison, the dragon is massive. Next we have some TURT LE power in the form of their large turtle. Again, this I believe comes across better when it's enlarged. I liked the smaller version, and yes, I don't know how the sword is meant to go in there. I think it's meant to stay in there somehow, but I've just kind of shoved it in. I've forgotten where I put the instructions, but there's some good heft to this. He does have a lot of die cast in him, and again, I think this is a better use of the mold as opposed to the Mastodon. This guy, albeit he is just made of plastic, and I do have a slight imperfection on the top there, he just looks really nice, and having him this big, it just feels much more like the Power Rangers I had as a kid. I know size isn't everything, but I don't know, something about having this guy at this scale really does give me those nostalgia feels. And last but by no means least, we have the White Tiger. Again, in my opinion, a much better use of the mold than what they did with the saber-toothed tiger. It's nicely painted. Again though, we do have some scratches and bumps where he's been bundled up when we've moved. This unfortunately does show up somewhat because of that white paint. The jaw does still open. We do still have some very sharp teeth on there, and we do have the blades from the swords as well. I still stand by my statement that I do prefer the White Tiger on this mold as opposed to the saber-toothed tiger. I would love original Power Rangers to be compatible with these. I think this is probably bigger than the original Megazord. In fact, it's quite substantially bigger than the original Megazord, but I would like to be able to chop and change, and I'd also like those to do their own version of the Dragon Zord, which you may have seen from my previous videos. I'd like them to have done that in this scale as well, and then I can combine them all up, and then maybe they'll give us their version of Titanus as well. Right, let's get all of these guys combined up into their Megazord mode. And here we have him fully combined. Doesn't he look wonderful? Unfortunately, you can notice the paint applications on the face. They do look a little bit cheaper on this guy, and we do have some scuffs and scratches on the front of the bird. But all in all, other than suffering from floppy wing syndrome, he's good. He's a really nice size. I mean, here he is alongside MP10. I know a lot of my watchers are Transformer fans, so just to give you an idea of how he fares, he's a big boy. And here he is alongside the original. He's basically double the size. And let's just bring in the rest of the family. We've got the original, which is made of shampoo style plastic. They then released this guy, who is the official. There was then a KO, which kind of combined retro style of the original with new Zords from the Celestial Warriors line. And then of course we have the oversized version that I've got here. We've also got a 20cm version of this guy. It's about in between the two, and that's currently in my son's room. So we now have the 20cm version and the direct KO of this. So I don't want to be greedy. Now, one of my biggest gripes with the original version was the fact that his head tilted back. they've managed to rectify that on the KO. His head actually looks forwards, and it does a remarkable job. We even get some rotation left and right. Don't really get any up and down motion there. The shoulders are on ratchets. Let's just move these wings backwards because they do hinder the ratchets somewhat. We can come up and down. We can come out to the side slightly. Not a great range there. The elbow does bend again on a nice ratchet, and we do have a little bit of left and right on the hands, as well as the fingers being able to open. Now there is no waist rotation at all. We do have very nice ratchets on the legs. They can also come out to the side. They kind of slide upwards, but that just gives us enough to get him into a nice wide stance. There's no bending at the knee. You can adjust these sections ever so slightly. There's a little bit of play in them, so when we get a nice wide stance, he's very stable. I mean, he's not going to win any acrobatic or dynamic awards, but he definitely knows how to strike a pose, and he looks very imposing on display. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the KO oversized version of the Celestial Warriors Megazord. Personally, this is my favorite version of that mold. It's just big, chunky, and really does bring back huge nostalgia feels. If you would like to purchase this figure, I've included a link in the description below. Just click down here, and until next time, from myself and the Megazord, thanks for watching. Goodbye.